So we came to America in 2001, and we actually, before coming here, we had to sell basically everything we owned, including all my toys. I was 10 years old at the time, and I had to take all my Legos and my marbles and any toys that I had because I couldn't fit everything into 2 bags. We had to take it to like a flea market, and we had to sell it. So I was there negotiating on a Saturday. I remember some guy came up to me and he wanted to buy my marbles, and like I worked so hard to get this collection of marbles, and there was like all kinds of styles and different rare marbles that you couldn't just find anywhere. They're kind of like collectors marbles. I sold it for 100 Rand, which is the currency of South Africa, and I remember being in the airport and just seeing all of my family there. Everybody's crying, and it was tough, moving here. But my dad had a vision for the family and wanted a better life, and we packed up everything into 2 bags and arrived in Dallas, Texas. Looking back now in my life, like all of that prepared me on my journey to where I'm today, and what I would go through, to get to where I'm at.
So my parents are from San Luis Potosí. I'm the first generation born here. I was born in Dallas. We grew up in Oak Cliff, right off of Keystone Polk. And so if you're from Dallas, you know that that area doesn't have the best reputation. It was definitely rough. There was gunshots at night, there was lots of crime. And so it's not necessarily the best place to raise your children, but my parents did what they could with what they had. And so I completely understand what it means to be on food stamps and have to count out your piggy bank change to go buy just the milk and the bread and the eggs just to get you through the week. So for me, it means a lot to it just means a lot to be able to be fulfilling the dreams that my parents, or the vision that my parents had when they moved to this country. And they tell me all the time that they're so proud. And that's why I get teary. Yes, so before I met Josh, I was actually going to school to get my prereqs to get into nursing school, all while working as a pharmacy tech at CVS. And so that was kind of the path that I had laid out for myself. So nowhere in my mind had I ever thought, leave the medical world and go off and start a photo booth business with your future husband. So right around 2014, at the end of that year, I was kind of hitting a wall at my current job. I wasn't feeling appreciated. There was tons of favoritism, and I just didn't feel happy. I was coming home crying all the time.
I had several jobs at corporations. Every time I had a job, they would either like restructure, reorganize, they would move the job overseas. I always felt like they never appreciated my work, even though I would be one of the hardest workers on there, and I always put my best foot forward. I remember one time at the call center, I sat down for an annual review, and my manager gave me like a 17-cent raise, and I was just so upset. I thought I'm gonna be there and always just have a little side hustle on the side. That's like the safety thing that most entrepreneurs do. But one day they came in and they said, hey, we're gonna move your job overseas to Costa Rica. Prior to this, when I was working at Bank of America, the same thing happened to me, and I'm just getting sick of it at this point. I had to take things into my own hands. About 6 months prior to this, we ended up building the first photo booth. You guys seen that in the videos, and we started, posting ads on Craigslist back then, and we started getting a couple of gigs. So when this news came to me, they came in and they said, hey, we're moving it overseas. I just took it as a sign. I was like, you know what? I gotta try being a full-time entrepreneur at this time. If there was ever a time, it would be right now. I was 24 at the time, and I had to give it a shot. So I took the severance package that they offered me. and we went in full time with the photo booth business.
I can remember when Josh built that first photo booth, and we were living in a very small condo, probably about, I don't know, not even 1,000 square feet in Addison. And I remember that photo booth lived in our living room. I did not have a living room. I could not watch my trashy TV because it was blocking the TV. It's been cool to see us go from that to different stages in our life. I've been able to witness it firsthand, and I'm very proud of the progress and the growth that we've made. We've learned a lot from being business owners. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way. And so that's kind of why we're so passionate about Photo Booth International. When we were doing the photo booth rental business, there was no guide. No one told us how things needed to be done. We were learning and growing as we were making mistakes. I do find it to be humbling because of our beginnings, and because we know what it's like to go and work events, and we know what it's like when people don't show up to work your events, and we know what it's like picking the wrong software that you shouldn't be using, things like that. So we do feel a sense of responsibility to pass what we learned the hard way onto our customers, our PBI family. We feel like that's one of the reasons why God put us on this path, is to make sure that we're able to help others achieve the same level of success that we did and avoid making those same mistakes, because we know the struggle was real.
And the first year we ended up doing 156,000, like over 6 figures. I couldn't believe, no experience, no college, no handouts, a bunch of mistakes. And we still ended up making, over 6 figures. And I was like, okay, well, there's some meat here. Let's get our skills up. Let's learn about business. Let's learn about accounting. Let's learn about marketing. Let's learn how to build, websites. Let's get the name out there.
When I graduated college, I was working at these corporate America gigs. When I started working at the railroad, BNSF is a great company, but it just wasn't for me. I worked there for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And on May 27th, I got a Skype call that I got laid off. And that completely threw me through the loop. I had put my identity on this job, on this paycheck, and when it got taken away from me, I had no idea who I was. I decided to purchase a photo booth business. I bought it from these people that I know, and I started freaking out. I started worrying. I was like, I didn't know if I had just thrown away tons of money. But then I came across Photo Booth International through my friend. I started doing research, came across the webinar, and I watched the webinar. Josh Pather, he inspired me.
Josh and Jasmine, they kind of lay a foundation that's very encouraging and supportive. They're good teachers in that sense, because they knew the industry, obviously, and I didn't know everything I learned on the job.
We're not just a manufacturer. We actually do care, and we're helping people achieve their goals, whether their goal is just to make that side hustle money and just bring in a little extra cash, or take it full time, like some of our customers have done, like Innocent Malik, leaving a 6-figure job and then taking it full time because they see the potential, because they're tired of working for someone else. I just love that we're able to provide that option for people.
My name is Jason Welch. I have been with Photo Booth International for about 3 years. I am one of the primary booth builders, main shipper, kind of wear multiple hats, tech support, sort of facility maintenance. I mean, it's kind of, you name it, other than sales and owner.
I'm Jaime Prado. I work here with PBI, help build the booth. I've been in the photo booth business for about 2 years now. I'm also a photo booth owner, and I have an Astro booth and also an iPad booth. Well, I started off as a photographer back in 2011. I did nightlife, weddings, and parties. Once I started doing weddings and quinceañeras, I noticed that some people used to have a photo booth there. I saw that people were having fun, and that was a great idea. So I said, let's do it. Found PBI online. They're close here to Dallas, and I'm in Dallas. We went there in person and looked at the different kinds of photo booths. I never paid attention to how actually a photo booth worked until I actually got one. And it has a real camera, and it has great pictures and good quality. So say the camera that I used was similar to the one inside the photo booth. So it was a very easy transition. The settings, the setup, everything was pretty much the same thing. It's just a little bit easier because you don't have to be jumping in circles, taking pictures everywhere, where everybody actually comes to your photo booth and they take pictures there.
Like I said, there's a really good support group here.
Having the life of the party.
We're always trying to make ourselves better every week. Every day is a new idea, every day is a new concept, and every day we want to make it bigger.
I always think to myself, like, if somebody gave me a book, if somebody showed me the way. So I'll put these together, I'll condense them down to like the biggest mistakes that I see. You know, would I have lost, you know, those 5, 6, 7 extra years before actually finding something that worked? I don't know, you know, I don't know. And I always look back and say, you know, I could have been further ahead had somebody shown me the way